All right, welcome to the Rocket Launcher podcast. This is episode 82. Almost said 42. I am your
I
host.
heard that 40 coming.
Yeah. I looked right at it and it was like a 4 was coming out. I don't know what's going on. I am your host, Supreme King. And joined with me as always is my co-host, and his name is...
It's your guy on Mazes.
How you doing, man? How's everything going?
I'm actually having a real good week. A lot of nice stuff happening this week. How about you?
Well, I appreciate the weather being a little bit more kind. We only got
Yeah.
maybe a month. We got this full month of winter probably, and maybe a couple more weeks in March. So I would say like 6 or 7 weeks all together, and I think it's gonna go by quick. So I'm kind of happy and grateful about it. But yeah, man, a lot of stuff happening in gaming, I guess.
Yeah, some of
We
that stuff
can
ain't so great.
Yeah, we can jump over wherever you want to start, because I don't really know where we really need to start. What's the hottest topic? But where you
Well,
want to start, man?
my biggest issue, so the one that bothered me the most, I guess we could start with.
All right.
So Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth,
Okay.
they locked New Game Plus behind the deluxe edition. So if you want it, you got to pay an extra $15.
See, I saw that a while back, but didn't pay as much attention to it because I thought
I
it would
didn't
be
believe
one of those things that they will moonwalk on, but so far they haven't. They haven't
Nope.
moonwalked it.
What they said is that they have this thing called the Master Vacation Bundle. Um, so the standard edition doesn't come with just the base game. The deluxe edition comes with the Master Vacation Bundle, which just says explore a bonus dungeon, get special Sujuman, resort guests, outfits, a new game plus, and more. And then the Ultimate Edition, that was like an extra 25 or 30 bucks, gets the or maybe $35. It gets the Master Vacation Bundle, extra assorted outfits, more Sujuman, and then a CD collection set for like playlists for karaoke tracks, which I know some of the side quests and the doing karaoke and everything is a big part of the Yakuza series. But yeah, the fact that all the extra stuff, as much as I always hate that type of stuff, where it's like we're gonna lock this behind, you have to get the DLC, whatever. But to lock New Game Plus, like to tell me that like in order to replay value for your game is locked behind $15 is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. I didn't think that they would keep it. I thought that they had some backlash on it and made some changes, because I think it was announced like a while before it's released that they were going to do that. And I would imagine, so the Game Pass version just has the base game, I would imagine, because the most that I remember was that it was supposed to be day one on Game Pass, and it was. And then I heard about that news, but I didn't pay that much attention because this was a game that I wasn't going to like play right away anyway. But I'm gonna get to it, but I wasn't gonna play it right away. I actually haven't played like Yakuza Like a Dragon, which has like one of the main characters in it.
But also, apparently the ability to change difficulty. Like I think there's like a standard, just normal difficulty when you play, and then to play
Yeah.
it on a different difficulty requires doing it on New Game Plus.
Mm.
So people who like to only play things on hard mode, uh, can't
So
unless they
it
pay an extra $15.
is this set
So,
to just normal or what?
and I think so. It's just a standard normal difficulty, and if you wanted to do it on like easy, I guess, to replay like quickly for some of the side quests, or play it on like a harder, very challenging difficulty, all of those are locked into New Game Plus, and New Game Plus is locked behind $15.
Yeah, that's kind of silly. That's unacceptable. And Yakuza or Like a Dragon has a really good name value amongst their community and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that they would do something like that and kind of, put bad press on them a little bit. Especially like not changing it, because I would have thought that they just would have changed it, because a lot of the dumb stuff has been changed more recently. Because I don't know what it was, but there was something else that had happened recently that changed really quickly. Like it seemed like everybody else was like moonwalking a little bit whenever they get challenged, but I guess they didn't do it here, so
Um,
that's kind of a shame.
one more major issue with it. So, because I'm reading this through, shout out to Gamer Rant. But one more issue is that apparently the expansion, like dungeon,
Yeah.
that they have has 9 trophies locked behind it. So trophy hunters have to have the
So you
um
can't platinum it out or get
you
all the
can't platinum
achievements.
without the deluxe edition. Yep, there's
Oh
9 trophies
man.
locked not in the standard. Because I know certain games what they do is you can platinum, and then there's extra trophies in like the expansion stuff, but they don't have anything to do with the original platinum.
Yeah.
Like I know that those, but this one, it seems like 9 trophies are locked behind
Man, you can't even
the
get the
deluxe edition. You
achievements,
can't
huh?
platinum. Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of bad. It sounds it sounds bad too, because this is like in 2024, I think we're going to see more situations where some of the companies are going to take a little bit more liberties because of like the issue with physical media, where some of the retailers and stuff is like taking away physical media that we're seeing in real time now. um I think because of that, they think that they'll get away with it on the digital standpoint, because they feel to an extent that they might have a slight monopoly there, in a way. But
Yep.
yeah, it's unfortunate. I do think I'm going to play the regular game. I don't think I was going to do New Game Plus for this anyway. But for those people, I do feel for you, because that does suck, because Yakuza's not a new series, or Like a Dragon is not a new series. So there's so many, like Konami 1 and 2, Yakuza 0, the collections from the past and stuff. So this being the next game, and then you see something like that, like somebody who's probably into all those games, they probably do go back and try to do every detailed thing that they can do. And if you're in a situation where you bought the game full price, because like maybe somebody who's a hardcore person, they wouldn't have played it on Game Pass, they would have bought the full thing,
Yep.
right? And this is considered one of the full price games, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think this is cheaper, like $50 or nothing. Like
But another
this is full price, so it's like I want the full experience.
that's all I was
Like
gonna ask for Game Pass. Wouldn't it be the standard edition?
yeah, standard Game Pass
Yeah.
is
So
typically standard for like a lot of the games. So if you wanted any kind of DLC for pretty much every game, unless it's an Xbox exclusive, like the DLCs is not going to be there.
okay.
Um,
So in order to
and
replay the game off of Game Pass, you have to pay 50.
yeah, and I think they may have done that with Forza Horizon 5 though, as a like extra. Like there were certain extra DLCs with Forza that was more about a lot of those exotic cars that I think you still had to pay for at one point. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong on that, because I'm pretty sure that was a thing, but not too many people probably cared as much, because it's more, just a racing game versus like a story driven kind of thing. But yeah, so it's kind of a shame. I would like to see this be like a one time thing, and the series does better the next time. Especially like other companies that might be looking at it, because I think all the companies look at who is doing something experimental to see if they can get away with it too. And this might be a situation where we as a like the consumer might have to put our foot down early before it expands to another game.
Please
um
do. Things that are standard in games should not soon become paywall. Like Game Plus is just a standard thing in a video game.
yeah.
It's crazy to put that behind pay.
But you know what? For the longest time, like I couldn't understand cosmetics either, because I always just felt like, you mean to tell me I gotta pay to go from the blue shirt to the red shirt or the
I
green
agree
shirt?
with you.
I think it because to me that used to sound silly. It's like, why would I pay extra money for that? Like, certain games would make it where like your DLCs you have to pay or something, and I don't really like that. Well, the DLCs as in the stories and stuff, but when it was just like the cosmetic you got to pay extra for, I was just like, but why?
Yeah,
Like,
no, I agree with you. All
um,
information should always be in game. I don't know.
yeah, and
Maybe because I'm
then
old, but I feel like in those like PS1 and PS2 games, like it was in game. Like if you're gonna get it, it was in the game. And
yeah, one of the games that I played recently that this kind of reminds me of was Marvel Avengers. 'Cause, like I beat that like maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and I
all
think
of it's not in game.
yeah, it was like one of those things where by the time I got to it, it was like almost delisted, and now it is delisted. So like I kind of had the full experience because everything was just made free when I got to it. But somebody who was like a huge fan, like you
I would say
didn't
you
get
can.
none of
You
those
can
extra
start.
fatalities
Nope.
or costumes.
Nope.
And like when I was playing, it was like, oh, I just switched to this costume. I was like, oh, I want those to be my finishers,
Nope. I didn't
right?
get none of that when I played it.
Yeah, and it's like, why would you want to do that after you finish the campaign too? You know, like it's like
Yeah.
you want to do it
Which
in the heat of the moment.
which
Like,
is where sometimes the new game plus comes. I know for some people it'll be like you wait a while, right, and then when you go back to play, you get to play it in like the entire time in the outfit you want, or
yeah,
things like that. Like you get to play the entire time with the you wanted, and it just be extra super powerful from the start, just to like have that feeling, I guess, to go through the game. So it's like to lock that behind extra pay is just messed.
yeah, it is what it is. But I can say for myself, when I buy a game, I want to make sure I have access to everything from day one. I
Yep.
don't really want to like I go for the complete editions of stuff.
That's what I'm doing.
Usually, if I see a paper trail of games where their earlier releases have like DLC in it, and then they come out with another like addition to the game
Mortal
or
Kombat.
to the next to the sequel, I feel like I would want to wait until all the DLC comes out because I know the previous games had DLC. Um, I'm more in line with doing that, you know. The only time I actually didn't do that was with Horizon Forbidden West, mainly because I saw the loophole how to get it cheap. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That was the only reason why. Other than that, I would have waited for that little DLC that they came out with because technically I don't have it, and so I have to
uh,
pay for it. You know, if I really wanted to, which I heard it wasn't really that good, so I don't even know.
yeah.
But now I do buy some DLCs way later down the line when they are cheap, just because.
Yeah, we do that for Remnant.
Yeah, that's one of them. Like we're kind of waiting on that. We kind of just put that game back on the back burner for a second.
Yeah.
Um, but I really do also want to play games when everything is in the game. So like a good example too, I did not play Hogwarts Legacy yet, but in my schedule that I have, I was supposed to play this month at the start of this month for February, but there was rumors of them having a DLC that's supposed to be announced and released.
Well, they keep saying that, but the DLC they think they're talking about was the PlayStation exclusive one that's now going to other places. I think
Maybe
that,
that one quest.
yeah, which I will say is like one of the better quests in the game. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it is one of the better quests, and it leads to like a way to still get more money in the game, like the way it ends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, it is one of the better quests. However, every time I keep looking up like what's this new DLC and everything, it always ends up leading to other people getting the haunted or like Hogsmeade mission.
Yeah, so I'm
That's
kind
my
of just
favorite.
waiting for the official announcement on that.
Yeah.
So I kind of like I'm gonna push it back a month anyway because I'm still kind of playing some other stuff anyway.
Yeah, I get you.
Persona 5 is such a long game,
Oh,
but
but I love it so much.
yeah,
But
it's
yeah.
pretty cool though. I'm like probably close to halfway. Yeah, but
Okay.
or Royal, Persona 5 Royal. But yeah,
You always say you're like halfway. Like we gonna talk about it later.
it's probably a
You're like
third.
exactly where you
It's
at.
probably a third. But shout out to the game on the screen, Evil West. I think that's a game we're struggling to finish.
Let's talk
Uh,
about that real quick.
you want to?
I, I just want to say that like for people going to play this because I actually saw a post earlier where some of the villains were moving a little weird, and somebody was like, "Hey, is this normal? Is my PS5 bugging?" And I'm like, "It ain't the PS5, it's the game. The game is a little janky at times. It is. It's fun. It's very PS3 reminiscent in terms of those style of games where it was like linear, bombastic. It's not really hard to follow. It's this is good guy, this is bad guy, blow everything up and have fun. So it's
Yeah,
fun in that aspect where I don't have to like track things down in open world. I don't have to like solve all this crazy stuff or level up before I can get to the next part. Like you're always strong enough for the next part. Like you're good. You don't have to worry about that type of stuff. That feels great for it's just a nice break from some of other stuff. However, it could be because we're on multiplayer for it, and it wasn't really necessarily built for that. It's a little jank at times. Some of the jankiness is either crashed on us or caused us to fail missions because like somebody would go through the map and you can't continue. The person's stuck.
yeah. Like I think this footage is more in the beginning of the game, but where we are is like closer towards the end.
Yeah,
And we're trying to go through a co-op, but I believe this is the tutorial portion, so I don't think you're in the
correct.
clip itself. Um, I like it a little bit. It's more frustrating towards the end when we were having some of the hiccups. Other than that, it's like a cool little beat 'em up. For a lot of people though, this is not cheap right now. I think they want their money for this. So if you didn't get it through PS Plus, I don't think it's on Game Pass, but hopefully it might be an Epic Games release at some point down the line. Or maybe you could wait for it to be around 20. If it's 19.99, I think it's gonna be good for this one. I think that's cool. Definitely play with a friend because I think it's more funner with a friend. Or I don't know if you can do three people, but at least two.
Limited to two.
Two, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. You know, you got your little Undertaker outfit on, and you doing a bunch of like beat 'em up. It's just a cool little beat 'em up. Um, yeah, but we put in was it like 20 hours, maybe less than that,
Yeah,
something like that.
20.
A cool little 20. Yeah, I think this normally retails at like either 60 or 50.
I thought it was on the
Um,
60 yen. Because I remember I thought it was on the 50 yen originally, and then when we were talking about it, you said they were looking for price. I think then it hit back to the 60. One of those two.
it probably was. It could be on sale under Steam every now and then if you do have a PC. But yeah, it's I wouldn't go out of my way for it. I would just play it eventually because it was just some issues that I had. But yeah. Where else can we go? You want to address Suicide Squads? So did you buy it? Did you buy it?
No. So,
You didn't buy it.
no, for multiple reasons. One, I told myself because of the whole waiting for complete editions and saving money and things like that, I ain't getting nothing till Black Friday. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Two, I needed to fully hear how this game was. And now that I see what it is, this is definitely something I'm going to pick up on the cheap. It's one of those. If you're a DC fan, you'll like the story, but you'll hate everything else about it. That's
But
what it
does
seems
this
like. It's hard to do.
this is a co-op game though, right? Isn't
It
this
is.
co-op?
Yep. So it's a co-op game, and you can play it single player, and it's very manageable single player. It does have like random repetitive side quests that you do
Yeah.
as your like loot with numbers. So you keep changing out like for loot numbers. Um, and of course it's all like shooty, where like all the melee stuff they said is kind of on the back burner. And you really just want to use the weapons. Um,
I'm gonna be
it,
honest though. I think that people were a little unfair how they were attacking this because I feel like at this point you should have known what you were going to get into. You know what I'm
So
saying?
now at this point, yes, I feel like the early unfairness, like when people
Now, a
complained
year
about,
ago, sure. Yes.
yeah, that's
A
so
year ago,
that's what
I'm
I
right
feel
there
like.
with you.
So why? Where it's just like this still shouldn't have been the direction they should have went in. But now that I know it's the direction they went in, I'm at peace at least knowing that the story, amongst people who are DC fans, the story is good.
Well,
And I
that's the
hear
thing
that.
too, because
I've heard. Uh, oh God.
I was just gonna say, it might be light spoilers, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if the details are 100%. I would just say I remember that I kind of mentioned in the past that people didn't like the way Batman was treated,
Yeah,
and part of it was because of the famous so
Kevin
Kevin
Conway.
Conroy's like his passing, right? And
Yes.
this was considered the last time you would ever see him portray Batman.
So
And
with that, I
yeah,
believe I saw something. I don't remember what it was, but apparently Kevin will. There is one more thing that's going to portray Batman.
okay.
Portray Batman that Kevin did the voice for before passing. So it's not the last thing. Two, I know what people. I made a joke earlier on Twitter where I was just like, "Why are people mad? The game is called Suicide Squad kills the Justice League." Like,
Yeah,
what?
like the way I kind of figured it out too is I was like, well, they if they're gonna do it, they're probably gonna go by power level, and it's gonna
Yeah,
lead up to Superman being last, just by
yeah, of
logic.
course.
Like you don't even have to like know nothing. It's just logically speaking, he
Yep,
would be last, and like it'll be Wonder Woman right before it, right, and then like Green Lantern probably or the Flash,
yep.
but
Which this is, I
Batman
think,
was
Batman
probably
fans
first.
gotta understand. As great as he is, if
Yeah,
you go by power level, you know his
yeah.
stand. Yeah, I'm sorry, I will fight Batman people as much
But
as
at the
they
same
want. They
time,
talk
like
about
kind of like
purifying.
how you would see Sandman in the beginning of Spider-Man 2, and this comes from somebody who ain't played it yet.
Yep.
Like I know he's there, but it's like they may have wanted to do impact in the beginning. You know what
Uh
I'm
huh.
saying? Like you like the same way you would have fought
They
him.
pull you in.
Yeah, to pull you
You
in
don't
is
want.
just
You don't want to start with the weak, like like with the
yeah.
like as lower ends of it, or does that make sense? I get what you're saying, but
But I
it's
think
the
it's a little
yeah.
overdone because at the same time, like light spoilers again. But didn't Gotham Knights go there as well?
Yeah, he died there. Like
But it
that was
was
the
like,
crazy
was that
thing.
more
People were like,
honorable? Like, I don't know.
it, well, it depends on how they do it,
Yeah,
but I guess it wasn't an honorable way. Uh, for Gotham Knights, but
yeah.
again, this is coming from a person I enjoyed Gotham Knights. There's parts that I complained about and things like that. I know were mediocre, and I still hate the fart jump,
It's
but
not like he was treated like Joel though. 'Cause some people was
correct.
trying to act that way, and I think they're kind of like they're like exaggerating a little bit.
I'll let you know for Black Friday, but
I mean, but
it's
yeah,
fine.
I don't mind co-oping it if you wanted to co-op when it goes cheap, but
I'll be down.
yeah, like.
Um, yeah,
But
we'll see.
at the same time, it is they did turn it into like Fortnite Lite.
Yep.
People didn't necessarily want that. The games came. It seemed like it was dead on arrival. It probably still kind of is. It's a little early to
Some people
say it
say
yet.
that.
We'll know by next week if it's dead on arrival because
Yep.
it's still in the territory of Power World, which I could mention real quick. I guess Power World officially has over 19 million total players. So
Wild.
this thing is king right now. It absolutely has won January and it
Yep.
is not slowing down. So yeah.
Albeit though, I have been hearing a lot of praise. Shout out to Tekken 8. A lot of people are like putting this up there as also a top-notch game. So I think we have two games that are already in the Game of the Year category coming out of January.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Um.
Do you want to talk about
So
what was well yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, man. You got
okay.
it.
So one of the ones I can bring up real quick. Was Embracer laid off some people, 97 EDOS employees, and because of that, the new Deus Ex game that they were working on got canceled again. So it's like every time there's somebody's working on a Deus Ex game, the company gets canceled. Uh, and it's just weird to me. I think the overall thing that's bothering me is it seems like Embracer bought up all of these like mini studios just start firing people, and it's like a weird thing to do. Whereas like you could just left them alone. Like it's weird that you're buying them just to like close places. So like even I saw a thing that says like since Embracer's 2022 buying spree, it also shut down the Time Splitter Studios, Volition from Saints Row, been looking to sell Borderlands Maker. It laid off over 900 employees, which was 5% of his. And it's like, then why buy them all? Like, why buy them to fire them? What's happening?
Yeah, I think you mentioned Saints Row. I just remember because I didn't put this down at all, but um, I believe the people who were let go from Saints Row have stayed, not everybody, but stayed together a little bit to form their own studio. So
Good.
apparently they're going to do something together, maybe as an independent thing, but I forgot the name of it. I wish I wrote it down, but I do remember the mention of Saints Row and all of that. So some of those people, they're going independent, I would imagine, or I don't
I'm
think there's.
hoping this revitalizes good games.
I
And what I mean
thought
by
you were just
that
gonna say they revitalized Saints Row. I was like, I don't know if it's gonna
oh
work
no,
that
no.
way. They don't
What I'm
own the
hoping
IP.
is that like there's so many of the like developers that have been like held by like corporate, which
Hmm.
we've talked about several times before, that maybe going independent is like, we finally get to do what we want to do. So I'm hoping that like in a similar vein to like Baldur's Gate 3, all of these companies are able to really get something that they want to do. Start getting
Okay.
greater games again that aren't just, cash cows.
Yeah. I want to see because this generation, I want to say so far, like you know how like there's like the whole console war thing. I think there's really been a bigger war between, I guess, corporate executives and the player
Absolutely.
because the whole tug of war thing with like microtransactions and at one point it was like a flash in the bucket or something, like the NFT thing was just like bam and it was just gone fast, right? But it
Yep.
was like we didn't want that at all, but people were attempting to try to push for it. They came up with every little thing to try to entice you, and it never really stuck, right? And so like I think like at the beginning of the generation we're starting to see these type of things, and there are some casualties of the war because a bunch of games are getting delisted, and the main reason is corporate greed, you know what I mean? And then we've had situations where games like Horizon Forbidden West will go from being a $10 upgrade or whatever the cost would have been to being a free upgrade, right? It's like there's the real war, in my opinion, is the corporate in general versus the player, and it's
I
on
agree.
all sides because even with like Microsoft, we had the situation where they tried to double the price of live, and then they moonwalked on it like by that afternoon, right? And then like there was situations with different third party publishers, everything we've been hearing about, like the DLCs and like with the sports game where if you wanted next gen or something, they wanted to force you to buy both versions of a game or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's silly stuff that's been happening. But it's been a tug of war this whole time, and now the next play is let's try to force physical games out of the stores. And I really think it's by force. I don't think it's just going away because somebody would have to explain to me like the logic of them saying, "Oh, these didn't sell. These are not selling." In my head, I'm like, "Well, you didn't put the systems in the stores for like 3 years, right? From the start
Yeah.
of the generation to now. Like, what do you expect? If you're talking about the casuals, if you're talking about the moms to elementary school kids, you did not put the systems in the store." since 2020 November. Of course she was gonna have issues with sales. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just it's little things that I'm just like, all right. But yeah, and you know, we're just going along and we just want to play our stuff, and we just want to have, you know, access to everything the way it's convenient enough for us and not for them. But I guess on another note, maybe we can move on to another topic. I still got more of your topics to buy.
So I can bring up one of the other ones too. So
Go
it's
ahead.
another rumor one that for the Switch 2, they might be doing OLED instead of or they might be doing LCD, a bigger LCD screen instead of an OLED screen.
Yeah, I don't know if I was the one who sent it to you first. I think like that is a silly story that I actually do think is true, because I equate that to Apple when they were like here's a iPod or something, and then next thing you know, the iPod has a camera on it, right? And then it's like it could have had the camera on it the year before, right? But it didn't. And then it was like their whole meme where some of them were just like kind of like taller, you know, like like I think they're gonna go with that. Like, here's your LCD screen.
A Switch 2 OLED version as well.
Yeah, I think it's gonna come. I absolutely think it's gonna come, and I think they're gonna space it out to be somewhat mirroring what the Switch was as far as like how they release stuff, where you'll see little special editions here and there as well. I honestly think because I didn't release the video, but I was gonna redo it where I said basically 2024 might be their year. Like, the system will get announced at like in April, and then it's gonna be probably released in the fall, right? One of the games that I said was gonna probably be announced with it was Mario Kart 9. I honestly would not be surprised if that's turned into a live service model for the Switch, and for the Switch 2. I didn't really mention it before, but they kind of like at the last minute like really experimented with that idea with Mario Kart 8, right? Deluxe, because they went and grabbed all these different boards, but it was just like, it's okay if you have our online service, right? And that's like kind of what the other companies would do, which is it's a little bit more foreign to Nintendo, but they were doing it and they did it, right? And it was all these other stages and stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mario Kart 9 is drip fed to us like that from day one, and you just wait for content. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that? You think that's too far out?
Sounds like what they're gonna do, but like, don't want them to do that.
You don't want to do it. You don't like it. I would rather have a full game.
Right.
But unfortunately, like, that's where everybody's headed. I'm really curious to see for Switch period, if they're going to make sure everything is backwards compatible, or if we're going to just have this weird different cartridge, because they're having issues right now with everybody like doing all types of weird piracy with the cartridge that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to switch it up, no pun intended, but at the same time, what does that mean for backwards compatibility though?
The best they could do was when the DS first came out,
Yeah,
they had a Game Boy Advance slot, so you could, like, I remember when I got it, that was one of the big selling points for me, was that all of my Game Boy Advance games you could plug in, and because those don't require two screens, it only played off of the bottom screen, and then when you put in a DS game, it uses both screens, and it had just two separate slots. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm very curious on it, but yeah, I think the LCD screen, I think that's actually accurate. It sucks, but I think that's accurate. I do also think the Switch 2 being like just as powerful as a PS4 is probably accurate as well. but I think it's base PS4. I don't think it's going to be PS4 Pro or Xbox One X, which is the unfortunate thing. But um, the problem though is overall Nintendo could just get away with it. They know they can get away with it. It's not much else we can really say. It's just they literally can get away with it. But I guess we'll see. Um, yeah. Anything else you want to say about it?
I
Yes.
just need its games to also just run smooth. Like I don't need another Pokemon.
Yeah. I definitely second that. But let's move on. Let me go ahead and do the middle of the show thing cuz I don't think we need to stretch this out too far longer. If it's going to be in the middle, it'll be like perfect at this spot right now. So, yeah, the middle of the show is usually when I tell everybody about where you can see some good deals in games and then also some free games. Usually centered around free games coming from Epic Games because they do it every week. Unofficial sponsor, you already know the drill if you've been here before. But yeah, it looks like they're gonna go from one free game to two free games starting for the next week. But the free game for this week, starting for February 1st to February 8th, is called Doors Paradox. So yeah, you can grab that one, and then next week is going to actually be two games in one, where one of them is Dokai Literature Club Plus.
Alright.
This is going to be from February 8th to the 15th.
Okay.
And then the next one is Lost Castle. Basically,
Okay.
did you have something you want to
So
say
real
about it?
quick,
Yeah.
for the Doki Doki Literary Club Plus,
Okay.
real quick, so it its premise comes off as one of those like silly like dating sim games. They used to pop up, but I promise for anybody that plays this, there's a lot more to it. It's hard to talk about why it's worth it without um but like literally to explain why it's worth it if you feel like you have to just spoil it, but there's
So
a
you've
twist.
played this then? You played this to
Yes.
completion?
Yes, like with some friends and I like heard about it. We were all like over Discord through it. And this one it's there is a twist.
Well, as
So
far as like gameplay, what would you compare this to? Like,
oh, it is full on the narrative draw story click. So basically
okay,
it's like a book essentially. So it's like things will come up on the screen, they'll talk, but it's like kind of static images, right? Where they like pop up and then talk and occasionally like expressions. Visual novel is what it's called. So to like talk and then you click your responses and they base it off of that and it's just scene by scene. So it's not
okay.
something that's like you're gonna be doing anything action or walking around or anything like that. It's literally image and clicking text.
But
Like
it's
is what it
perfect to
is.
just like sit back, relax with like the Steam Deck, the
Yeah,
Rogue Ally, something like that.
yeah. Something like that, or if you're on like Discord with your friends, like go through the story. Like what we used to do is like everybody picks a person, and you have to
Hmm.
read all of their lines and like force each other to do accents to be like doing stupid stuff.
Okay.
Um, but there's a lot of like the dating sims out there, which is literally just like, can you build enough uh like companionship between the two characters that they can start dating essentially. And this one is like that, but with a major like twist to it. Um, yeah, I guess the slight spoiler would be like it's a good game to play in October if that helps. Like it has a nice twist. So
So is it
I
horror related?
yes, it's a psychological game. It's a lot
Okay.
psychological thriller game. So I definitely like it's a lot more to it with a nice twist story and multiple endings. Um, I definitely suggest this one.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
Oh,
So also the
I
other one
also had a
was
free game.
what's up?
I also had a free game that like I normally don't have anything to offer here. Um, but Celeste, they released one on the itch dot like it ch dot io from Maddie Makes Games Inc. The place that made Celeste. They have this like old school looking one called Celeste 64. Um, and it's
Oh, they
a
made
free
a
old school 3D platformer.
oh shoot.
Yep,
Okay. I gotta look at
full on
that.
free. Yeah.
Is that under Steam?
Oh no, you have to go to the itch.io. So itch.io. If you type in Celeste 64, um, ITCH, it'll come up from Maddie Makes Games, Inc. Um, and it's just yeah,
Okay.
it's supposed to be an old school. It says relive the magic of Celeste Mountain along Madeline in this small, heartfelt 3D platformer. Created in a week ish by the Celeste team to celebrate the game's 6th anniversary. And it's just like old school 8-bit, like it looks like an N64 sort of game. But it's full free.
I got so I have the regular Celeste on Switch. I would say for anybody who was to play that, go buy one of them rinky dink controllers that you probably like that's like either them rock candy controllers or just like one of them little $25 controllers. Do not use your Switch Pro controller because you or the Joy Cons because you will absolutely give yourself Joy-Con drift with this game. You definitely want to do this with like a little dummy controller, one of them GameStop controllers, if you're gonna use that on the Switch. Because Celeste is one of those games where it's like trial and error until you get it, but like you gonna like screw up a really good controller if you use the good controller. You don't want to use a good controller on that.
Okay.
So I just wanted to mention that. One other thing, as we're still growing towards saying goodbye to physical media, apparently, so I've found a couple good deals out there. Maybe some of y'all can look this up for games that you probably don't have yet. Two games I was actually able to buy that will be in the mail later this week from me. Um, Sonic Superstars. We're probably gonna talk about Sonic again later on, but Sonic Superstars was $19.99. And that was a relatively newer game. Also, apparently, they're going to release a shadow skin for it. They call it a costume, but they're going to kind of technically reskin Shadow in there as a free DLC at some point for that game. And I guess Shadow was mentioned later on. And then the other game that I got for $20, which was Persona 5 Tactica. And so that's going to come in the mail in a minute. And these were at Best Buy. And so these are not too old of games. I think Persona 5 is actually not that old at all. Tactica. And so I got them both, $20 each. Definitely keep taking a look at a lot of these retailers that are just desperately trying to get rid of these games. They unfortunately do not want to have physical games in their stores anymore, but that does mean that you'll see some of these like liquidated prices in a way. So yeah. Did you have something you was gonna say? I think I cut you off. No?
No, I was just saying you said Tactical wasn't that old, and I was saying it came out in November.
Yeah, it's like right around the corner. So yeah. I'm still in the Royal and I'm gonna probably play Strikers before playing that, but I'm probably gonna take a break before Tactica because it's a lot of Persona 5 and I should probably mention now, by the time this goes up, Persona 3 Reloaded will be launching. It will be coming out officially February 2nd. It's also day one on Game Pass if you have Game Pass access. And so this has got some big hype from Persona fans. It's reskinned from the original and it looks really, really good. More cutscenes and stuff for it and everything. If you are a Persona fan, this is a big deal for you, right? So yeah, shout out to the Persona series. Co-host, are you excited about Persona 3? Persona 3 Reloaded.
I am actually.
Yeah.
That was the reason why I didn't buy Persona 3 Portable. When they came out with the Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden, like remasters, and then they announced Persona 3 Reloaded, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna get Portable. Um, I'll wait, but I am excited to play that one. But I still gotta play through Golden, Strikers, and Tactica.
Yeah, a lot of games from this developer Atlas. Shout out to
Yeah.
Atlas. Or publisher, my bad. But yeah, yeah. Looking forward to all of that. Um I think I'm out of topics for me, but I have a
Oh,
couple other things. But we can go. This is
well, I
my
have.
co-host show today because
Yeah, I
I don't
have.
have that much. Let's go.
I mean, of course, we have. I think people know the main event is going to be the state of play. Uh, so I do have one other topic. So it's
Yeah.
a fun story in Baldur's Gate 3. All right.
Okay.
So in Dungeons and Dragons, certain sorcerers have a subclass that's called Wild Magic, which says whenever they do a spell, you basically another random thing just happens. And it'll be little things like they grow twice in size, or they can't get drunk for a week, or they smell like lemons. Like it's just like random things will happen, right? Um, Wild
Yeah.
magic. Well, in Baldur's Gate 3, uh, they somebody used mage armor in the first room. So as soon as the game started, they buffed up their armor class, just in case anything was going to happen right away. And because they were a sorcerer doing wild magic, it triggered the wild magic. And out of everything that could have happened, it summoned an enemy elemental that beat them because it was too strong on the first mission. So they
Dang.
died before even exiting the first room of the game. Like,
Dang.
and it's like, who knows
Some
what would
Dark
have popped up?
Souls stuff, huh?
And that's what happens. Yep. uh, so it started making me think about like any silly like game death that I had. Um, I don't know if you like thought of any or can think of any on the spot, but the one that it brought me to, and it's funny because you just mentioned it, Dark Souls 1. Uh, it was the first boss, the Asylum Demon. Uh,
hmm
Basically, I'm going through doing as best as I can, and I get to the Asylum Demon, and I'm standing up on uh the little ledge part where it's at, and I jump down to go fight it, be down. So I was like, okay. So then the second time I walk over to the ledge, and I was a kid, so my mom called me for something. So I was just, I went to go check and see what, blah blah blah, and I come back in and I'm grabbing the controller, I'm getting ready to like really get through this, and of course the game you can't pause. Well, the Asylum Demon decided it noticed me on the balcony and just jumps up and smacks me down.
Mm.
Like before the battle's even started, it just jumps, hits the thing, and like the whole bridge collapsed, and I fall. So I'm running to the controller while like my character is just getting beat down by this thing, and I'm not hitting the controller at all. So
Mm.
that was when I learned Dark Souls does not wait for you.
Yeah, it don't. It definitely don't. The only thing I could probably think of that was probably funny is just like maybe my reaction realizing that the Crash Bandicoot remaster of 3 games in 1 was not the same as like
That
the
insane joke.
beginning, because like before I even had access to it, like I just picked up the controller at a kiosk inside of a store, and just saw it, and I was just like, oh, I remember this and it looks a lot better. I'll just jump around on it real quick, and basically was just dying, and was just not like it was some of the most basic stuff, like he couldn't just precisionally jump from one platform to the next. He'll either be he overshot it, undershot it, you know what I mean, and just die. And I'll be like,
Weird.
yo, what is going on with this? And it was just kind of difficult, and I had barely even did anything or gotten anywhere. And I'm just like, yo, that's not how it was at all. Like you could pull up emulation of the old one or pull out the old one. And you just burn through the level like it's nothing. Get all the crates and everything. And it's just like, what is going on? So yeah, like it was kind of shocking because I wasn't aware. I just picked it up at a
Oh,
kiosk. I had no idea that it was going to be harder. I just thought it was just going to be, updated graphics and that's it.
yep.
So yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah. But I guess yeah, we can move on. The one thing I wanted to mention for PlayStation real quick. Shout out to I guess the PS Plus that I saw for Essential. I know a lot of people gonna clown for Foam Stars, but the other two games was actually
Yeah,
something that I had on wish list. That
yeah.
like one of them was just kind of like another Souls clone or another Souls game, still Rising. I was just like, okay, I'll wish list it. I'll come back to it eventually. The other one was the Roller Drome. It was just like a cool
That was the
looking little
game I
game.
wish list.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah,
just like, okay, I'll come back to it eventually, but I'll just wish list it for now and leave it alone. So both of those things were on my formal wish list, and now I have access to them because I have some PS Plus left over.
hey,
Foam Stars I actually thought was only going to be on extra. I think I even said that in a previous episode.
that's what I thought.
But yeah, I guess it's maybe they didn't think it was gonna sell a little bit on that on extra, so they put it on the
For a
regular
game that
essential.
doesn't look, I don't know, great. Like it is still a day one dropping on extra or dropping on plus. But then the other two, I think, is yeah much better.
Yeah, I think. I mean, once you have if you have access to essential or you have access to platinum, you have access all the way down, right?
Yeah,
So yeah. Are you going to download and play that?
yeah,
Foam Stars.
yeah. I'm gonna try it out.
You gonna try it out?
I'm gonna try it out. I don't
I
think I'm
don't
gonna
know. I
like
think I'm
it.
gonna pass on it. I'm gonna download the other two though. I might
Yeah,
play Roller Drum quicker than or sooner than later.
same.
Um
But I want it. I will give it a shot. I'm gonna like it to be honest. And I see myself playing it once and then deleting it. Uh, like I did with like Rumbleverse and My Hero Academia one. But we'll see.
yeah. Um I don't have honestly I don't have a desire to play Foam Stars at all. But um I'll claim it, you
There we
know.
go.
There you go. It'll be in the infinitely growing PS Plus collection of games that's on like essential basically. But yeah, I guess we can move on to the next part. I could tell you, I know this is gonna sound crazy to somebody out there, but I just want to mention um I ain't watched this. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch.
Hey, I did. So I
I
guess
didn't watch. But
what
hey,
I
you can go ahead and let us know. I'll probably mention. Honestly, it was a couple things. It was like kind of like right in the middle of the week. Typically,
yeah.
when we do this, was towards the end of the week. And
Also,
honestly, a lot of
yeah,
stuff that they were showing, I was already like, why? I've seen enough of it. I don't really feel like I need to see the rest because I'm not as interested as I was before. With Rise of the Ronin and Stellar Blade, to me, I haven't finished the Bayonettas, and then I did not finish Ghost of Tsushima basically either. And I
yeah,
feel like those are the they are kind of influenced by those games, and those games are technically better by default. You know, maybe that's too
yeah.
hard to say yet. So I didn't actually watch, but there was some other stuff that came from it. I did claim the Silent Hill thing, and then we can get to it. Why don't you tell us how it went, man? Tell us how it went.
All right. So overall show, I thought was pretty decent. It was good. I think if you are a fan of the Death Stranding series, or if you're kind of like a Kojima like big fan, then this would have been a much like it would have been a better show for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't really care about Death Stranding personally, that big of a deal for me, and
Right,
it took up
right.
a lot of the show. Rightfully so. It's a big release. It's just it's not something I really care about. Um, on to the more positive stuff that I saw. It was nice to see, I guess, a little bit more of Ronin to see what it's gonna, be like. And watching it really did make it look like it was like, hey, Ghost of Tsushima was our inspiration. Like that is what it felt like. That's fine. The extra that I saw in Stellar Blade made me actually more interested in the game. Um, it looked a little bit better. Like it was, I guess this one was more focused on the story, the deep dives that they did. So it
Mm-hmm.
didn't just feel like action and you're fighting robots. Like it was like you got to see what's really kind of happening in this world. So it got me actually a little more interested in the game. Um, they had two VR games shown off in the middle, and to be honest, those made me interested in getting a VR. I'm not getting a VR, but they made me
The
interested.
VR too.
Uh, the Metro Awakening VR trailer and Legendary Tales VR trailer. So basically, the Metro Awakening was straight up like you're shooting like zombie stuff. And it's right before Metro 2033. Um, but it was like all VR. It was kind of scary. There was a part where like the dude like you open the door with the VR, and then as
Mm-hmm.
the person turns their head, as soon as the light shines on the thing, it like jumps at you. Like so, it looked like it was like full like shooting, and it did look good. And I know this is coming from afraid to play Resident Evil 7, but it looked good. And then Legendary Tales was like basically you keep summoning weapons and you're living in like a fantasy like Skyrim sort of like world, like a fantasy world, fighting stuff. But like basically you get to be the Avengers in this thing. So it's like you had a
All
magic
right.
bow and arrow that you're shooting. Then at one point they showed the person summon a shield and they threw it like Captain America and it bounced between three enemies. And then the game ends, like the trailer ends, you have a hammer and you hold it up and lightning hits it and everything. You're like ready to go. Like you're just the Avengers in this game. You got all the cool weapons. You got like a sword and it like opened like you hold the sword out and then like runes start lighting up on it and then it catches fire or something. Like you're just like you got the coolest looking weapons in a fantasy world. Like seeing those two, especially that game, I'm like, oh, I'm about to look at this VR. Like that's how I started feeling. Oh, so that was good. They showed some more foam stars, so I got to really see what it's like. Basically, it's a team shooter like Splatoon, but like
Yeah.
rather than just trying to cover the area with your color, the idea is supposed to be colored like on the ground. You can move faster, and the enemy moves through it slower. So it's like, and eventually it evaporates. So it's like trying to constantly cover the area with your soap, so you can like move through it as you can. It doesn't seem great, but I'll try it. Uh,
I
Helldivers
did
looks
see a
okay.
couple details. So I think last week I reported this as a rumor, but this week it was more confirmed. Where Until Dawn is going to get its like remaster or whatever it's going to do.
That was the least exciting thing for me because I don't think it needs one. I think the
Yeah,
game still looks great from its PS4 one. So I'm not understanding what the remaster is for.
it's for the money, man. You already know.
Yeah,
It's for the money.
I will say the main event showing for me uh was Sonic X Shadow Generations. So they're releasing a new Sonic game and it looked very like similar or like some spiritual successor to Sonic Adventure 2, which I remember playing on the Sega Dreamcast, and it was my favorite Sonic game. And it's the one where you know you run it through the city and everything, and you can play a Sonic or you can play a Shadow for like most of it, basically.
Yeah.
And that's what this game feels like the successor for. And this is what got me excited to get back into Sonic. So this is gonna be a must get for me. Uh, this is like I don't know if it's gonna be a day one buy because I've been doing the whole. I'm trying to do the whole Black Friday thing only, and
Yeah.
just like beat games that I have and only get new games one time a year. But whatever, this might be a game that I'm picking up this year when it comes. Like I don't imagine it'll be on sale for Black Friday if it comes out around that time, but I'll pick it up
I
at that
think it
time.
will be on sale because of the other games, but I don't want to be negative on it. I just feel like because I know it's gonna seem weird because I just mentioned I bought a Sonic game. Um, I bought Sonic Superstars, but I gotta mention I was one of the people who bought Sonic Frontiers on a Black Friday, and I didn't play it yet. It's in the backlog, I guess. But I'm a little concerned with like them having like some sort of Sonic game come out every year because
This is
now it
also
would be the
remember
third
though.
one though, right?
So
What?
looking this up though, it is a remaster from the 2011 Sonic Generations with some
Right.
extra with Shadow, but it is them releasing one every year.
Yeah, and it like I don't know if it's gonna cheapen the value a little bit because these were all somewhat different from each other a little bit, right? Like Frontiers is drastically different in my opinion, but it's like I'm just a little concerned with that. It seems like maybe they're trying to like really just capitalize off the name overall, but are we really getting quality products? Because I heard from the hardcore that they didn't like Sonic Superstars as much, but I heavily criticized Frontiers probably a little too much just because in my opinion it looked like they were trying to go with a Breath of the Wild type of Sonic,
Yeah,
but um I'm just wondering, like, I don't know, because these games were also going on sale pretty quick too. If it's just like let's milk the name of Sonic a little bit more than actually crafting like a
but I also, to be honest too, I also imagine some of like this one coming out and them doing all the Shadow stuff
yeah
is probably because the Sonic movie, like the third one,
yeah
will probably be coming out soon, and the main event is Shadow.
yeah.
Like that was the tease.
I think they have a plan with it, and it might work for them overall. And Sonic is a
Well,
beloved character. I just feel like it feels too soon to me when we're just
that's
like
fair.
here's another one, you know.
Very fair. Now, as
But
for me, someone who didn't buy Generations, didn't buy like the last Sonic game I bought was Forces when it came out, and it was on
I gotta
Switch.
check because I think I do have Generations. I gotta check to see.
Well, obviously, if it was given away for PlayStation Plus, if it was not given away, the last one I bought was Forces. When I first bought a Switch.
Hmm.
So, as someone who's kind of not played them in between, and just remembering the nostalgia of the Sonic Battle 2 and the few that I've played after it not living up to that, this one with what they showed and even the stage they showed feels the most related to that. So that's what got me excited for it. I should also mention Dragon Dogma 2 looked good. I just kind of started Dragon Dogma 1. Dragon's Dogma.
Okay. Actually, now I think about it, I think it was like the remaster that they did for, I think it was Sonic Colors. I think that was the one
Uh,
it was. I know, I just know I've been buying a bunch of these Sonic games and ain't really been touching them because I ain't have a good experience with, I think it was Sonic Forces. But like just based on the name, they get me to buy them. I'll admit it because I'll buy this next one too. But I'm probably am gonna wait for it to be 20, just like I did with this other one. But I gotta admit, I am buying them though. I am buying them. I
all right,
can't
don't make fun
criticize
of me
them too
about
much.
Pokemon no more if you out here buying all the stuff.
I mean, yeah, I'm buying the Sonic games. I think Mario is another one that I've criticized heavily, but I'm still kind of buying them because I have every intention to buy the Mario versus Donkey Kong game. I think it's gonna come out in a couple weeks.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna have it really discounted because of like GameStop and like other discounts that I have. So hopefully that gets knocked down a little bit more than half. But yeah, I'm gonna get that as well. I
So,
am gonna get the Peach game too. I ain't even gonna hold you up.
yeah,
Like I'm utilizing them discounts to really knock down their prices because you know their prices are extra high.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I will say, because we always give a rating for the show at the end, unbiasedly, 7 out of 10, maybe. Biasedly, 6 out of 10.
Well, we
Maybe
missed
even
a couple
5 out of 5.
things though, right? There's
Well,
more
I didn't
to it.
announce everything. So there
Yeah.
was the Dave the Diver is coming to PlayStation. Zenless Zone Zero is coming to PlayStation. Kojima's doing an espionage game, and there's Death Stranding 2. Um, then of course Rise of Ronin as well. And then of course, like we said, you downloaded. There was like a free Silent Hill mini game to the announcement of the
Yeah.
Silent Hill
And then they
major game.
show Silent Hill 2 remake, right?
Yes. And
Because
then there's
I
a game
caught wind
called
of that. Yeah.
Yep. There's a game called Judas, which is made from the people who made Bioshock.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know if I'm gonna be if I'm gonna sound like a Resident Evil fanboy a little bit, but I feel like Silent Hill might be pulling a Power World a little bit. I'm just saying. From what I was seeing,
I guess.
it looked like it's pulling like a Resident Evil Power World situation. You know, that's as far as I could go with it. But I am gonna play it. I did
And
download the Silent Hill a short message, or
okay,
actually, no, I take that back. I did claim it. I didn't download it yet. I
same.
did claim it though. Um, I do want to mention with Dave the Diver, very
Oh,
interesting enough, Godzilla.
that's what I forgot to. Yeah,
I
Dave the Diver, Godzilla.
yeah, Godzilla's been showing up everywhere lately because I think he is also in Minecraft now as
Oh,
well.
fun.
Um,
They're getting you ready
and
for that next movie.
yeah, like he had a very successful movie that was, from what I heard, was actually lower budget. But
Oh
they've
yeah.
been making so much money off of it. That's Godzilla minus one. And then you're
Uh-huh.
gonna get the Godzilla where he teams up with King Kong movie on the American
Yep.
side. So yeah, Godzilla's doing some big things. Maybe of all games that they should actually remaster, how about they remaster that Godzilla PS4 game
That'd be
so that
cool.
people can actually have real access to it? Because it's like $300 or $400 online because they
That'd be
just like
cool.
ran out of print or something. And it was never a digital version. It's like, why don't y'all bring that back so like everybody can have access to it? It's still a crappy game overall, but like still,
Yeah.
because Godzilla doing big things. Shout out to the other game. I forgot the name of the game, but the game that Epic Games gave away, where the DLC had Godzilla in it.
Oh,
Um,
the fighter, Monster Brawl,
yeah, it was something that I had said I wasn't gonna
Kaiju,
buy.
Kaiju Monster Fighter.
Yeah. Giga Monster or something like that. I
Giga
don't know.
Bash.
Giga
Giga Bash.
Bash. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Shout out to that. Epic Games came in for the win, giving you away the base game, and now you can get the Godzilla DLCs and stuff,
Yep.
Ultraman DLCs, and you have like the whole shebang. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's like the Godzilla game that replaces the other one in a way.
So yeah.
um,
Also, the other game that I forgot to mention is getting a PS5.
I'm gonna be honest, I ain't gonna watch this either, but
What?
I did see that they were made an announcement that they're gonna do another state of play or something like
Yeah. Specifically for
specifically
Final
for
Fantasy.
yeah, Final Fantasy's Rebirth.
Yeah.
I didn't play. I have access to Intergrid, but I didn't play Intergrid yet. Coincidentally enough, I'm actually playing Final Fantasy 1, the Game Boy Advanced version, so not from the Pixel collection, but like the actual Game Boy Advanced version. Which, if anybody out there is extra hardcore, they'll know that's the version that actually is the definitive way to play it because it has the most content in it. And when they ported it over, they didn't port over that version, so content is left out. But I am playing that version technically on the Mayu Mini little Game Boy, basically.
Okay.
But yeah, so Tuesday, February 6th, they're gonna do that Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth showing, for everybody that's hardcore Final Fantasy 7 fans.
So like I said,
Um
for my rating for the show, unbiasedly about 7 out of 10. There was like like for anybody who's like a Kojima, Bioshock, big stuff here for you.
yeah.
And other stuff, it's nice when they can deep dive into certain games that have been constantly advertised. So like Rise of Ronin has been shown up a lot, and Stellar Blade was shown up a lot. So the fact that they're like, here's what it's about, like it's good to see that much is done. Biasly, for me, it was about a 5.5. Like really, it was Sonic. Stellar Blade, it got me excited into with the trailer. It's still probably not like a day one buy, and I'll hear about it, but it looks better now. Something I'm into. The VR games look pretty cool. Um,
I don't know how
and
well Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin is gonna do.
I
Um
don't know
because I think the only thing that's really holding it back really is those $70 price points.
that too.
And it's like if it wasn't for it being a full 70, like they would survive as new IPs.
Yep.
But I honestly think like a lot of companies can really learn from Power World in a way, because Power World was like really cheap basically, and it made everybody, no one questioned it basically. They
Yeah,
just kind of ran with it, and I mean, yes, there was still all the popularity and stuff of it, but
they're
I
gonna
think
take the
some of these
wrong method.
games need to be like 40. You know what I
They're not
mean?
gonna they're not gonna look at that and go, hey, maybe if we sell it at 40, a lot of people will buy it. They're gonna say, hey, maybe we should do a monster collector. That's all they're gonna take from it and make one that's
I
70.
guess it is what it is, but
But yeah, the
I
ones
think they would make 3 or 4 million sales off of it if they dropped it to that price from day one.
yeah,
Um, I don't think, because I'm not buying neither one of them 70. I'm gonna be honest.
yeah,
I no disrespect to the games, the developers. It's just $70 is reserved for like those like that's GTA 6. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's like that's
Well, it might not be.
is yeah, we'll talk about it if it gets to that point, but it's just like on paper I wouldn't pay for like $70 for GTA 6 and then $70 for Stellar Blade. It doesn't even make sense to do that to me. It just
Sure, sure.
doesn't. So but we'll see how well they do. They don't have to be as big as Power World, but they can still be big. You know. Yeah, shout out to Stellar Blade, especially because there are still a lot of people who is like up in arms about, I guess, the character model's appearance. That's still a thing. It's
For Stellar Blade?
yeah, because
Because it's like a
people,
little hot anime girl?
yeah, people don't like. It's like obviously there's a crowd who's like, there's nothing wrong with it, but then there's a crowd that's just like, we shouldn't look. They shouldn't look like that no more. I don't think there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it because
So
to me, even though like I know some of it is kind of fan service, I
it
don't.
is.
It don't mind. I don't mind it. You know, I
My
don't even look at it like that. Cause
my thing is
somebody else
okay.
could like,
So,
so like Kratos is on the screen. Somebody else could like googly eye Kratos like that. You know, like
yeah.
a girl
Well,
could
they
really
still
look at
argue
him
that
like that.
the male gaze is like, this is what guys want to look like.
Yeah.
Is what I've heard. Here's the thing. I like, and as a person who, and I've talked about this with you and everything, and anyone who asks me, I am a person who hates like fan service stuff, and it's gotten me to, when some of it's egregious, I can't even watch the anime anymore
Mm-hmm.
because it's just it feels so weird. It's like
Pervy.
it's almost on purpose. Yeah, and I just feel like
Yeah.
it's like so distracting from the plot. It's like it's one of those things. It's like where if somebody comes in, you have to or justify why you're watching. Like that's where it feels like, and I can't do it. So with that said, uh, I don't see anything wrong with Stellar Blade. Like this is the style of game. It's supposed to look anime style, so she's gonna look a little fan servicey, but she is still fully covered, and she was very action packed. And I feel like during majority of the game, that's not really where your eyes are gonna be. Like you're gonna be fighting and button mashing and like zipping around. I feel like you can cover it, right? They're not gonna like, I don't know. I don't feel like they're gonna get gratuitous with it. There's just so much in your face. So I think you'll be fine. Like deal with it completely.
Yeah.
And if you don't
Well,
like it, just don't buy it. But
right.
that's the thing. I'm not saying these animes with the fan service stuff should get canceled. They're just not my cup of tea. I don't watch it. Other people really enjoy it. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll see how good they are. If one of them could steal February, that would be awesome. I don't know. Like I know there's a bunch of stuff that's still coming out February, but I don't know what's like going to be defined as this is the February game. You know, like I don't expect everything to be like doing as much impact as Power World, but hey, it's a new
I can
month.
tell
We'll
you.
see.
All right, so
We'll see.
February releases. What we got? Uh, Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
Yeah,
Uh, oh, Persona 3 technically Reload is February 2nd.
that might actually be the biggest one.
Yeah,
Like to me, that's the biggest one.
and they're
Like
pushing Helldivers 2 a little.
if I was finished with like all the other Persona games I was doing, um, Persona 3 will be the choice for this month for me.
I agree. What about Skull and Bones? That's finally coming out February 16th.
I doubt it. We'll see, but I doubt
Uh,
it. I don't think it's gonna have as big of an impact as Persona.
Probably not.
I think Persona's gonna have the biggest impact.
And then Final
Um,
Fantasy Rebirth is the end of the month.
oh yeah, you know what? Actually, there's a possibility that the Final Fantasy game might actually be bigger than Persona 3 Reloaded. Because for a lot of
Probably.
people, like they may have already played. Well, they technically already played both. Both of them are. These are
I feel
both
like
like
if
remakes or
Final Fantasy
remasters.
just might have a bigger name
Yeah,
than the Persona.
actually, it comes down to those two as far as this month.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to those two. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I guess that could be the end of the show. I don't know what else really needs to be on here. But I know I'll be saying I'm gonna make more content for real this time. I actually am because I actually have time set aside to do it. Where I'm probably going to record tomorrow, edit the next day, and then you'll see stuff go out like throughout the week next week, and then I'll kind of like get the ball rolling a little bit more. But probably 1 to 2 vids. Like I don't want to just oversaturate and do the same thing everybody else is doing. I would like to still be a little bit more unique. Um, but yeah, more content on the way. Any last words?
Looking at the screen right now, and for Marvel's Avengers, to me, this is where the game shined. Not for Black Widow, but specifically when they had these single player missions that were designed for that character. Right? Like the turning
Mm-hmm.
invisible, sneaking through stuff. The generic player things that went wrong. Hopefully, video games in the future realize that.
Yeah, she was really fun. I would say the female heart guy was also really fun.
Okay.
Um,
Thor's scenes were my favorite.
yeah, Thor was pretty cool. I was so annoyed with the after game stuff. Like I didn't really give it a chance to like really go through each character. Like I didn't play Jane, and I wanted to play Jane, but it was just like when they were trying to make things extra grindy and stuff. I'm like, man, this is kind of insulting. So I kind of just put it down. But the little stuff I was playing was still really fun. There was still a lot of cutscenes and stuff that comes along with some of those extra campaigns. It was just like it felt hollow. I was like knowing that it's been delisted and stuff. It just felt like you playing with a corpse or something. Like
Yeah.
it was just it was weird because it's like it wouldn't even be delisted or anything if it was a PS2 game or Xbox game because you would have had the disc. But it just knowing that it was delisted and I felt like it was unjustly delisted.
Mhm.
I was just like, eh. So I kind of wiped my hands with it. Um, I still got plenty more footage. So this is still gonna be shown a little bit longer. Coming up. But even with it being delisted, I honestly think people can still find disc versions of this relatively cheap. This is not something that's going up in price, but I think it is going to probably go up in price like 10, 15 years from now. But as of right now, it's still very cheap. You can find this pennies on a dollar anywhere. Uh, yeah, but I guess that is all that I do have for you here. Um, be safe in the winter, and we will catch you later. All right. Peace.